All right, today we are diving deep into the fiery heart of a steel mill to uncover a hidden battle. It's a fight to make one of the world's most critical industries way more efficient by tackling a really costly problem called yield loss.
I mean, think about it. Steel is literally everywhere. It's the backbone of our modern world. But you know what's really amazing about it? It has this incredible superpower. You can recycle it forever, and it never, ever loses its quality. And this is where all that recycling magic happens. It's called an electric arc furnace, or EAF. This thing is an absolute beast. It takes mountains of scrap steel and zaps it with an insane amount of electricity to melt it all down and forge it into brand new steel. So that brings us to the big question, right? Because inside that furnace, in all that incredible heat, a little bit of that steel is literally just vanishing. And figuring out how to save it, well, that just might be the key to a much greener future for the whole industry.
So let's get right into it. The first piece of the puzzle is understanding this idea of a hidden loss, which all comes down to the problem of yield. So what in the world is yield loss? Well, to put it simply, it's when perfectly good, valuable metallic iron gets chemically transformed into iron oxide. You could almost think of it as a kind of high-speed, super intense rust. This iron oxide then gets stuck in this molten layer of gunk called slag. It's perfectly good iron that's just lost.
So what's causing this to happen? Well, ironically, the culprit is something that's absolutely essential to the whole process. Let's talk about oxygen's double-edged sword, our necessary villain.
Okay, so here's the deal. Oxygen plays two totally different roles here. On the one hand, steelmakers pump it into the furnace because it is fantastic at burning off impurities and generating extra heat, which melts everything faster. That's the good stuff. But on the other hand, that very same oxygen, well, it doesn't just attack the junk, it attacks the iron itself, creating the very yield loss we're trying to stop.
And this is the actual chemical heist going down inside the furnace. You have two iron atoms that team up with an oxygen molecule, and poof, they become two units of iron oxide, or FeO. The oxygen has basically just stolen valuable iron right out of the mix.
But you know, every good heist story needs a hero, right? Well, it turns out this chemical heist can be reversed, and in the chaotic world of the furnace, that hero is carbon.
And here's the rescue mission in action. Carbon, which is usually injected as something like coal, swoops in and finds that iron oxide. Now, it turns out carbon has a way stronger attraction to oxygen than iron does. So it literally rips the oxygen away, forming carbon monoxide gas, and this is the crucial part. It sets the pure metallic iron free, returning it to the steel.
And this chemical rescue has this amazing side effect. I mean, not only does it get more of our iron back, but that carbon monoxide gas it creates, well, it's the key ingredient for something really cool called foamy slag.
And believe it or not, that side effect turns out to be one of the most important tricks in modern steelmaking. Let's talk about the magic of foamy slag.
Now, this isn't some hacky accident. It's a carefully controlled technique. The bubbles of carbon monoxide get trapped in that slag layer, causing it to foam up and expand. Honestly, it's a lot like the head on a freshly poured beer.
And this foam, it's like a superhero for the furnace. It acts as a thick, insulating blanket, trapping heat right where you want it, in the steel. It shields the furnace walls from all that intense radiation, which makes the electric arc more stable and efficient. It transfers energy better. It even makes the whole incredibly loud process a little bit quieter.
And the result of all that? You get a power efficiency increase of at least 20%. Now, in an industry that uses just enormous amounts of electricity, a 20% gain is an absolute game changer.
So, this clever little bit of chemistry has huge real-world benefits. Let's look at the payoff, when it comes to efficiency, cost, and, CO2.
Just by getting this foamy slag practice rate, steelmakers can cut CO2 emissions by about 10.6 kilograms for every single ton of steel they produce. It's a perfect example of how making your operations smarter is also better for the environment.
And this really puts the whole thing in perspective. The modern EAF process, which is all about recycling scrap and using these smart techniques like foamy slag, has a carbon footprint around 466 kilograms of CO2 per ton. But the old-school traditional blast furnace method, almost 2,000. The difference is just massive. And that's why all these little optimizations matter so much. The steel industry is a cornerstone of our entire global economy, but it's also a huge source of emissions. So every single efficiency gain, no matter how small it seems inside the furnace, has a really significant impact on that big global footprint.
That kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. We've seen how just understanding a few simple chemical reactions can make a foundational industry cleaner, cheaper, and way more efficient. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other industrial giants out there are just waiting for a similar transformation, right from the inside out?